Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to style the last floor of the Barbie Dream House, which is our bottom floor. We're going to start with Barbie's kitchen. In true Barbie fashion, we are making everything pink. It's going to look like a gender reveal party cannon exploded in here by the end of this video. You'll notice that I went with the very light pink. I'm using the country kitchen kit. The rustic cabinets aren't really a great fit for the Barbie aesthetic, but they're the perfect color, so I went with it anyway. I tried a few configurations for the cabinet, but I finally settled on creating a corner setup. I thought something was missing at the end of the counter, so you'll notice that I added a hutch, and surprisingly, it's a perfect match. I'm adding in the pink appliances, and they're actually the perfect color match too, which is a miracle in The Sims. I finished up the cabinet setup with an island and a few top cabinets. As you can see, the lighting here is a little weird. It's because the back wall is missing because I set it up like a dollhouse. And since it isn't technically a room anymore, The Sims 4 makes it impossible to light the room. I noticed that building during the night setting helped a little, but it wasn't a perfect fix. I used the new growing together tiles for flooring and walls, and I tried a couple of different chandeliers before I settled on this completely over the top chandelier. But let's face it, Barbie is probably enjoying how extra it is. It adds a little more Barbie aesthetic that the rustic countertops were taking away. I'm adding a few decor items on the hutch, which I used the BB Dot Move Objects cheat to place. You'll notice by placing the objects on the hutch and then moving the hutch away from that area, I can move the object back and place it where I want by dragging it and pressing Alt. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get right, but it makes it look more realistic and more lived in. I'm also adding in a coffee pot because Barbie would definitely need one so that she can complete all of her careers and aspirations. She is one busy woman and she's not going to let sleep stand in her way. I'm adding a few plants and more kitchen decor items to make the room look a little more realistic and lived in before we move on to our next room. I noticed that something looked a little empty behind the sink. And so I looked for a long time for something to add to that area. And eventually I settled on the photo collage, that the one that was recently added, that has this really cute cat picture. And I think Barbie would enjoy the adorableness that is that cat picture. We are moving on to the living and dining area of Barbie's Dream House. We are starting by copying and pasting the adorable doors that we had upstairs. They're a beautiful arched light pink, very Barbie. I chose a white and pink fireplace as the focal point of our living room. It was kind of hard to find a TV since this fireplace was extremely wide, but I settled for the TV that had the extra speakers on the side. I wanted to include a dog bed, but I kept having to move it around to find the perfect spot, so you'll notice throughout the build that that's going to keep moving until the very end. I settled on this couch and these chairs from high school packs. I wanted to keep the build fancy Barbie, but comfortable. The super fancy couches looked like they belong in a museum and not something that you could curl up and watch that TV. They reminded me of a scene from Gilmore Girls where Richard is talking to Emily and he says, "Nothing makes me happier than standing in the corner staring at our furniture." And that's what I pictured them doing. I paired the comfy seating with this modern marbly coffee table and these early 2000s plastic rainbow side tables. I think they went pretty well together. It took a few tries before I was able to find a rug that I liked. So I decided to choose a flooring and wallpaper first. I went with a geometric focus wall and adorable light pink paneled walls. And then I paired it with a fluffy pink carpet. I added a few paintings and created a cupcake gallery wall. Then I set my sight on creating an adorable office nook. I wanted to use the curved bookcase since I've never really used it in a build before, but it just wasn't working and it wasn't going with the Barbie aesthetic. So I switched for a cute high-topped table and used it as a desk and paired it with a pink bookcase. I used the Move Objects cheat to overlap the desk and the bookcase to create a built-in nook. I added a pink desktop and a few office decor items. Then I added a geometric rug to tie it all together and finish up that nook area. After the nook, I moved on to the dining area. In the dining room, I went with a small round table and paired 3 chairs with it. I wanted the chairs to have a little bit of a design, so I went with these really cute ones. The more chairs you add to the round tables, the more overcrowded it looks, so 3 seemed to have been the perfect number. I defined the area with a hanging pendant light, and then I went in and I added a few more accessories to the area to make it look less staged and more lived in before moving on to the last room of our build. The last room of our build is the garage. I couldn't find the pink car. There might be one, maybe in debug somewhere, but I just couldn't find it. So I settled for this old sports car. I think it's in the Barbie aesthetic. I wanted to make sure the space was mostly Barbies, but I was able to give Ken the tiniest area. I put in a couple of bikes and a few garage items, but my main focus was skill building items. I put in a woodworking table. I like to pretend that Barbie has allowed Ken to have only this one small section of the garage for himself. This is where he builds toys for the baby, art decorations for Barbie, and even cute little bird houses. The rest of the garage is Barbie's. She's painted a cute mural on the wall, and everything is pink except for this area near Ken's woodworking table, which he's allowed for him to paint a different color. But other than that, it's all Barbie. Now, let's take one last look at the final build of the first floor of Barbie's Dream House. And just as promised, an explosion of pink everywhere. From the kitchen to the garage, pink as far as the eyes can see. Except for Ken's tiny little area. I hope you enjoyed the video and tune in for our next series. Have a great day.